All right, guys, if you will, your table of contents today, whatever page you're on, we're going to be doing solving systems by substitution. Once you have that written in, if you will go ahead and flip your journal to that page. And I already have some stuff written for you, so if you want to pause and go ahead and write this stuff for me, you can. And as soon as you unpause, you'll hear me explain it. So since we're talking about substitution is just a method of solving systems of equations by substituting equations within one another. So you're going to take one equation and put it inside the other equation. A key hint for doing substitution, you want to look for a letter that has no coefficients. So just a letter. You want just X or just Y. Your steps to solve. Your first step is you must solve one equation for X or Y. It does not matter which one you solve for as long as you get one of them by yourself. So you'll see me do some examples where I do both letters. Okay, after you have X or Y solved for, you are going to substitute. Step 1, whatever you got, into the other equation. So the equation you did not mess with. Okay, as soon as you substitute that in, you're just going to solve for the remaining variable. You'll have to do maybe some distribution. Okay, once you have that answer, you're going to again substitute the answer from step 3 back into step 1's equation, and you're going to solve for the other variable. So that's really confusing. So make sure you're listening as we go, because if you're listening to this, I will explain step by step as we are working this. So for my examples, excuse me, I have the equations y equals 4x minus 1, and I have the equation y equals 2x minus 5. Okay, the first thing you're going to do, you're going to look for a letter with no coefficients. Well, right here, this y is by itself, so I'm going to box what it equals. Okay, now I'm going to do step 2 and substitute that boxed equation into step 1. So this box, do you see how it says y equals? I'm going to take the box and replace the other equation's y with that. So it becomes 4x minus 1 equals, because I replaced that y with this box, and then I just write the rest of the problem, 2x minus 5. Okay, step 3 is now solve for the letter that you have. Well, I have an x. So there's no distribution on this, so I'm going to move my smaller letter. So I subtract 2x, and that gives me 2x minus 1 equals negative 5. I am now going to add the 1, and that gives me 2x equals negative 4. I divide by 2, and I'm going to write my answer right here, x equals negative 2. Okay, this is important, so I'm going to kind of underline it so I don't lose it. Now that I solved for this variable, I'm going to substitute my answer back into my step 1 equation, back into my boxed equation. So I'm going to bring up my y equals, and I'm going to do 4. But instead of x, I know that x is negative 2, so I put negative 2 minus 1. So I'm just taking this and plugging it into that now. Now I'm just going to solve. I get y equals, well, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Bring down minus 1. And negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. Now, to write your final answer, you must write it as an ordered pair. And remember, it always goes x comma y. So my x is negative 2 and my y is negative 9. And that is my final answer. Okay, for problem 2, example 2, I've got y equals x plus 9 and 3x plus 8y equals negative 5. First thing, look for a letter by itself. You have both x and y by itself this time. But do you see how y already has equal to? I'm going to box what y equals, and I'm going to take that box and plug it into the y in the other equation. So my other equation will become 3x plus 8. Instead of y, I'm going to open up parentheses and do x plus 9, close my parentheses, equals negative 5. I literally just replaced the y with what y equals. Now I'm going to distribute and solve. I'm going to get 8x and I'm going to get 72. I bring down my 3x plus at the beginning and it equals negative 5. Okay, now I combine like terms. That gives me an 11x plus 72 equals negative 5. And to solve for x, we're going to subtract 72. That gives me 11x equals negative 77. I'm going to divide by 11 and x equals negative 7. Okay, this is extremely important. You're going to take this and plug it back into the boxed equation. So over on this side, I'm going to do y equals, instead of x, I'm going to put negative 7 plus 9 because I'm just replacing this x with what I got. And now I just add those and I'm going to get 2. Okay, now that I have both of my answers, I must write my order pair. X always comes first, so negative 7, 2. And that's my answer. Okay, next, once you have that copied, there's 2 more problems on the back we're going to try. Okay, so on the back, we're going to do x plus 5y equals 4 and 3x plus 15y equals negative 1. Okay, the first thing I'm going to look at, this is the only letter I have by itself. Okay, so I'm going to bring down x plus 5y equals 4, and I need to get x by itself. Well, to get x by itself, we must subtract 5y, which gives me x equals negative 5y plus 4. Now that x is isolated, I'm going to take that's my boxed equation, and I'm going to plug it into the x in the other equation. Okay, so for my plug-in, I'm going to do 3 open parentheses. Instead of x, I'm going to write my box, which is negative 5y plus 4, close parentheses, and now I just finish off my problem. Plus 15y equals negative 1. Okay, distribute and solve. 3 times negative 5y is negative 15y, and 3 times 4 is 12. Bring down plus 15y equals negative 1. Okay, now I combine like terms. Well, a negative 15y and a positive 15y, they cancel each other. So all you have now is 12 equals negative 1. Your letters canceled. So now what you look at, does 12 actually equal negative 1? Well, no, it doesn't. Since this is a false statement, your answer, you can either write the words, is no solution, or you can use the symbol. Whichever way you want to go, I'll take either. Okay, for my last example, I got 6x plus 3y equals 54 and 2x plus y equals 18. For this example, you're looking for the letter that's isolated by itself. Well, the only letter that does not have a coefficient is this y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this for y. So I'm going to subtract the x. And that gives me y equals negative 2x plus 18. Going to box this because now it's y equals. I'm going to take that box and I'm going to plug it into the other equation's y because I have y. And I'm going to get 6x plus 3 instead of y. I'm going to do negative 2x plus 18, close my parentheses, equals 54. Now I'm just going to distribute. 3 times negative 2x is negative 6x. And 3 times 18 is a positive 54. I'm going to bring down the 6x at the beginning and the equals 54. I am going to combine like terms. Well, a 6x and a negative 6x cancel. So I'm left with 54 equals 54, which that is a true statement. When it is a true statement, your answer is either infinite or you can use the infinite symbol, the infinity symbol. Okay, you're going to have some questions to try on your own. I need you to be very careful when your y's are negative, and please ask me for help on anything that you need help on.